Do you long for a new life in another country? Are you under the impression that relocating to a different country will provide you with new opportunities? Contrary to popular belief, when moving to a new country, many people find themselves confronted with difficulties and setbacks that they did not anticipate. Your quality of life can be significantly impacted, and your future can even be destroyed by factors such as the high cost of living, difficulties in finding employment, cultural barriers, and climatic conditions. At first glance, which countries might not be as promising as they appear to be all the time? Let's take a look at the places you should steer clear of if you don't want to deal with a plethora of challenges and issues. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and click the bell. Number 1. Canada. Canada often attracts immigrants with its high standard of living and diverse opportunities. However, the reality might be less rosy. One of the main problems for those considering a move to Canada is the high cost of living, especially in major cities like Toronto and Vancouver. Monthly expenses for groceries can amount to around $375, while utilities can cost about $158. This makes living in Canada quite expensive, especially when considering high housing and rental prices. Finding a suitable job in Canada can also be challenging. Many immigrants encounter discrimination and xenophobia when trying to secure employment, which complicates the process of integrating into the local society. Even if you manage to find a job, the high cost of transportation can become a serious issue, particularly for those who need a car. Cultural differences and subtle discrimination can further hinder the integration process. The Canadian financial system also poses a problem for new immigrants, as it does not recognize foreign credit histories. This can make it difficult to obtain loans and credit, significantly limiting the financial opportunities of newcomers. Additionally, the extreme cold climate in Canada can be a severe test for those accustomed to warmer conditions. Harsh winters and prolonged periods of cold can be extremely uncomfortable and even hazardous to health. No. 2. The United Kingdom. Moving to the United Kingdom may appear to be an attractive option, but it is not without its drawbacks. The ever-increasing cost of living is a significant problem, particularly in London, which is the nation's capital. The monthly rent is approximately $150, and the average price of a house in this area is approximately $626. Because of this, housing in London is among the most expensive in the world, which can be a significant challenge for people who are just moving to the city. The high cost of living extends to other aspects as well, including the cost of food, transportation, and utilities that are required. The lack of access to adequate medical care is another significant obstacle for many immigrants. Long wait times for medical services are a common problem in the United Kingdom, and public hospitals frequently struggle with a lack of available staff. For individuals who require either routine medical care or treatment in an emergency situation, this can be a significant challenge. In addition, life in the UK can be made more difficult by the presence of cultural differences and difficulties in integrating as a result of cultural barriers and difficulties in adjusting to the local customs and traditions. A significant number of immigrants experience feelings of isolation and alienation. The immigration system in the United Kingdom can be challenging to navigate. The immigration process can be made even more difficult and stressful by the fact that the procedures for obtaining a visa and a work permit can be difficult to understand and time-consuming. Because of these challenges, it may be more difficult to integrate and adjust to a new life, which may ultimately result in feelings of dissatisfaction and regret regarding the relocation. No. 3. Brazil. Brazil, a country known for its exotic and vibrant culture, may be hiding serious problems that could ruin your future. Among the most significant challenges is the elevated rate of criminal activity, particularly in major urban centers such as Rio de Janeiro and Sao Paulo. In these areas, criminal activity, which can include robberies, thefts, and acts of violence, can have a significant impact on both the quantity and quality of life. Threats and dangers are encountered on a daily basis by a large number of people who move to Brazil, which makes life there extremely tense and unsafe. Inequality in terms of economic status is another significant issue in Brazil. The country's living conditions are difficult and unpredictable due to the lack of employment opportunities and the low wages. The majority of immigrants have difficulty finding work, which makes it difficult for them to provide for themselves and their families. It is especially difficult for people who do not speak Portuguese to overcome language barriers, which can further complicate life. Integration into the local society and and the acquisition of employment can be extremely difficult to achieve if one does not possess a command of the language. In Brazil, the steps involved in the bureaucratic process can be difficult and time-consuming. A multitude of formalities and administrative obstacles can make it difficult for immigrants to obtain the necessary documents and permits, which in turn makes life even more challenging for them. In addition, the quality of life in the country can be significantly impacted by a variety of climate and environmental issues, such as high humidity and the possibility of natural disasters. Number 4, the French. It is not always easy to live in France, despite the country's attractive landscapes and abundant cultural offerings. It can be challenging for new immigrants to integrate into French society because of the country's potentially hierarchical and closed-minded culture. It is possible for those who do not speak French to experience significant difficulties on a daily basis due to language barriers. The ability to communicate and perform tasks that are commonplace can become a challenge if one does not have knowledge of the language. The procedures that are followed by the French bureaucracy can also be difficult and time-consuming. In order to acquire the necessary documents and permits, it is possible that a significant amount of time and effort will be required. The high cost of living in France, particularly in major cities such as Paris, makes maintaining a life in France both challenging and expensive. Rent and utility costs can be a significant financial burden for newcomers. For those who are not French, the healthcare system in France can be difficult to understand. The process of obtaining medical care and insurance can be difficult to understand and requires familiarity with the regulations and protocols that are in place in the area. All of these factors make life challenging for immigrants in France, which can result in feelings of dissatisfaction and regret regarding the decision to relocate. No. 5. China. There are a lot of opportunities available in China, but there are also some drawbacks. The competitive nature of the job market can make the economic boom a difficult experience. There are a lot of immigrants who have to deal with high demands and expectations from employers, which makes the job search challenging and challenging. The ability to speak Mandarin fluently is a significant advantage. However, a significant number of immigrants do not speak the language at a sufficient level, which makes integration and trying to find work more difficult. Concerns about health and the environment are extremely important issues. Pollution of the air and water, as well as difficulties in gaining access to high-quality medical care, can have a significant impact on someone's quality of life in China. The differences between the legal frameworks of Western countries and China's legal system can make it difficult to navigate China's legal system. An additional layer of complexity is added to the lives of immigrants by the fact that local laws and procedures can be difficult to comprehend and cause confusion. It is also possible that the political climate in China is a cause for concern. It is possible for opportunities for self-expression and communication to be restricted when there are stringent rules regarding freedom of speech, press, and internet use. Because of all of these factors, life in China is difficult and unpredictable for a great number of immigrants. No. 6. Japan. Despite the fact that Japan may appear to be an appealing country to relocate to, the country is not without its challenges. It may be challenging for new immigrants to integrate into Japanese society due to the homogeneity of Japanese society. People who do not speak Japanese and are not familiar with the local traditions and customs will find life in Japan to be difficult due to the obstacles posed by language barriers and the complex social norms that exist there. When new employees are introduced to a demanding work culture and unwritten rules of behavior, they may face a significant challenge. The high cost of living in Japan, particularly in major cities such as Tokyo, makes Japan a country where life is both expensive and complicated. Expenses associated with housing, food, and transportation can be quite high. It is also possible for the climate and the possibility of natural disasters, such as earthquakes and typhoons, to have a significant impact on the quality of life in Japan. Because mental health services in Japan are not as developed as they are in other countries and are not as openly discussed, it can be challenging for people who are struggling with psychological issues to get the necessary assistance. All of these factors make life in Japan difficult, and they may cause one to feel dissatisfied and regretful about the decision to relocate. Number 7. The United States of America. It is possible that the United States of America, with all of its abundance of opportunities and diversity, is not as ideal as it appears to be at first glance. It is possible for immigrants to experience an atmosphere of instability and discomfort when political polarization and tension are present. The political climate and the growing xenophobia may cause a great number of foreigners to experience feelings of unwelcomeness. There are also significant issues with the healthcare system in the United States. It is possible for newcomers to face significant obstacles, such as the high costs of medical care and the absence of affordable insurance. Because medical services can be extremely expensive for those who do not have insurance, living in the United States can be very expensive. One of the most significant challenges that many immigrants face is the high cost of transportation and the high cost of renting. It is possible for housing in major cities such as New York and San Francisco to be extremely expensive, and the costs of transportation only add to the burden of financial responsibility. Mortgage rates that are too high can also make it impossible for many people to purchase a home. Num. 8. Mexico. Due to its proximity to the United States and its lower cost of living, Mexico may appear to be an attractive location for relocation. However, it is not without its drawbacks. Illegal drug trade and organized crime both contribute to significant threats to public safety. For those who are contemplating relocating to Mexico, there are also significant obstacles to overcome, including political corruption and a weak economy. There is a possibility that life in Mexico will be unsafe and unpredictable due to issues of security and corruption within law enforcement. When it comes to healthcare and infrastructure, Mexico frequently falls short of expectations, which can result in additional challenges for individuals who are new to the country. Getting important tasks done and adjusting to the way of life in the area can be made more difficult by the mañana culture, which is characterized by a sense of delay and casualness. There is also a significant threat to the quality of life in Mexico posed by natural disasters such as hurricanes and earthquakes. Those who do not speak Spanish may have a more difficult time integrating into society and communicating with others due to language barriers. All of these factors make life in Mexico difficult, which can result in feelings of dissatisfaction and regret regarding the decision to relocate. The Belarusian. Number 9. Belarus is a country that is plagued by significant problems, despite the fact that it may appear to be an attractive destination due to its central location in Europe and its low cost of living. As a consequence of political repression and cultural isolation, a great number of immigrants are forced to live in an environment that is fraught with instability and discomfort. The low standard of living and economic difficulties that Belarus is experiencing are directly responsible for the challenges and unpredictability that are inherent to life in the country. It is possible that the lack of rights and freedoms, in addition to the political situation, can be a contributing factor to the insecurity and tension that can be experienced in Belarus at any given moment. For a significant number of immigrants, the process of assimilating into the local society and adjusting to the living conditions of the area is a difficult and challenging process. Due to the fact that all of these elements contribute to the difficulty of life in Belarus, it is possible to experience feelings of dissatisfaction and regret regarding the decision to relocate. This is India. Because India is home to such a large number of different cultures and ethnic groups, living there can be difficult at times. The presence of trash on the streets, as well as noise and chaos, contributes to the creation of an environment that is disorderly and inconvenient. Newcomers may experience a great deal of discomfort as a result of this, which can be a very problematic situation for them. It is possible for social norms and communication styles to be very different from Western standards. This can make the process of integrating and adapting to a new environment more challenging. Environmental pollution is a significant problem, especially in major cities like Delhi and Mumbai. This is especially true in the capital city of Delhi. There are a number of factors that can make transportation and the completion of day-to-day tasks more challenging. Some of these factors include traffic congestion and inadequate infrastructure. In addition to this, the healthcare system is plagued with a number of significant issues. There are a great number of individuals who struggle to gain access to medical care of a high standard. There is a wide range of variation in both an individual's sense of safety and how they perceive their own safety. There is a significant number of immigrants who experience feelings of insecurity and vulnerability as a result of the high crime rates and the absence of a law enforcement system that can be trusted. Due to the fact that all of these elements contribute to the difficulty of life in India, it is possible to experience feelings of dissatisfaction and regret regarding the decision to relocate. It is a significant decision that requires careful consideration and preparation preparation, and the decision to relocate to a different country is particularly significant. In spite of the fact that many countries possess appealing characteristics, it is possible that they bring more challenges than they do benefits. It is possible for factors such as the high cost of living, difficulties in finding employment, cultural barriers, and climatic conditions to have a significant impact on your quality of life, and even have the potential to destroy your future. Because of this, before settling on the decision to relocate, it is essential to conduct exhaustive research on all aspects of life in the new country and to be well prepared for any potential difficulties and challenges that may arise. For this reason, it is essential to conduct research on all aspects of life in the new country. The ability to avoid disappointments and to make your move successful and fulfilling can be achieved through careful preparation and by maintaining a realistic perspective on life in another country. This will allow you to achieve your goals